Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A jam-packed show, so much to talk about, so much to discuss, and so much to the point that we forgot about the timing and we got completely cut off there. So, we're not going to recap, but what I think we'll do is one day, because me and Az have a lot to say on this as well, we'll be the guests one day, and then maybe we'll do a vote about who should be the host for that episode. And yeah, and then we'll let them come on and they can interview me and Az, or one after another on different shows. But for now, we are talking to Ali Shafi, and Ali is telling us about his view on different things. Yeah, so we know how he feels about slides. Az, anything else you wanted to ask him?
Yeah, real quick, Shaf. We'll skip through a few of these, and then we can get on to some better stuff. But quick one. I'm now part of Optastats for being with certain people, but it seems that you're always with Harvey. Why is that?
Because holding hands together is the best combination ever. I don't know. Harvey's my boy, yeah. You know what it is? I think it's like putting you and Rish on the same side of Rossi. I think there's a certain combination in the game that is good. I get what Jake is saying, like mix up the games and the teams and blah, blah, blah. But then there's weeks where you have a bit of a grudge, and I don't know why I always put Harvey. You know what it is? I like playing with Harvey. I've been playing with him for in football for more than 15 years, maybe 20 years. And he makes my game enjoyable, isn't it? And as I said, going back to earlier, your football fix. I've only got one game going on in the week. So I try and make the most of that, even if it's not as fair. But I always make the teams fair anyway. But I get what Jake's saying. There's a good part of the game would be to mix it up now. We've had our fun with, certain players. I actually like defending against Harvey because I irritate him during the game. There's times when he's been on your side and I'll say, don't come in my area, isn't it? Because I don't really want to mark you. So we have that mutual respect.
Right, next one. Where do you stand on the Malik gate? Malik in, Malik out? And more importantly, was you one of the people that was in Imsy's ears to have him out in the first place?
You know what? All I said is that I think it was the following week, and the only reason that I didn't want to play with Malik is, as I said, the guy's a nice guy. I've chatted to him continuously all the time anyway. Every time I see him, there's nothing that I've given him as a negative view or feeling or anything like that. The guy himself is really nice, but as a football game, as I said, a football fix in 1 week, you have such a busy schedule with family, work, blah, blah, blah. It's like the one enjoyable thing that's happening that breaks up my week. Now, I remember that one game that that I played with Malik on my side, and the guy was jetting up the pitch. And I know I had a huge go at him during the game, but we're all adults. I've had you shout at me. I've had Sam shout at me. I've had Jake. Literally everyone's had a go at me. And I think I wouldn't say I went overboard because he was taking the piss, man. He was jogging back, and I'm running. And why am I running and being out of breath and having stitches and all this if he's going to do that during the whole game? And then before the game, he was telling me he had a knee problem, operation or something like that. Anyway, but. Yeah, I just remember shouting at him throughout the whole game. So now with the Malik in, Malik out thing, I don't think anyone did a character assassination. They didn't say Malik's blah, 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 this or that. They only spoke about his football only. And I know that, with Rish, I understand Rish's point of view. Rish looks like the guy that doesn't like someone being bullied or singled out or whatever. He's fine with me getting bullied and singled out and the whole group turning
and that's as well.
Rish is perfectly fine with that. No, you know what? I understand Rish's point of view. The only reason I went into another group to actually speak about it, and you know what? The other actually bad thing is that Jake is saying that that's his good friend and blah blah blah. But I mean, if any of you lot had to go at Harvey or Abs, or you lot don't see me getting upset, it's part of the group discussion, isn't it? If there's not a discussion, then what the hell are we doing, isn't it? How are we going to improve the game? There's no discussion on the table about certain elements of the game. How are we going to improve it? Why is everyone paying £7? £7 ain't a joke. When you equal it over, the month and the year and blah, 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 it's a lot of money. So in terms of the Malik in, Malik out, I would say Malik out. Only reason being because he wasn't up to par in the game. There was weeks that he's played. I get it. He's covered numbers, and it's why I understand even Shank's Chelsea's point of view. I don't want to play a Wednesday game where there's all randoms. It's not going to be enjoyable. As a you and me done, remember we were trying to run games in Ramadan, and there was a couple of 2 years ago, and we had so many randoms that it came to a point that you and me said, you know what, forget Wednesday for a little while.
Yeah.
So I think Malik out, and no, I didn't message Imzi. I did message Imzi. I just said, listen, Imzi, my reason for not. This is when the whole group kicked off, and Rishi got angry. I kind of got annoyed because Rishi dropped the C word in such a strong way. He's known me longer than Malik. There's better ways to approach it as an adult, and if you respect. I know there's a lot of respect between him and me, and I'll elaborate a bit on it because Rishi is one of those guys that not many people knew that my mum had cancer. Rishi straight away messaged me personal. I didn't put this out there because sometimes you don't need to let the whole world know. He did a nice thing, messaged me privately, blah, 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 how's your mum, this and this. So I don't have anything against Rishi. I was just saying that he's known me longer. And there was a better way to deal with it, but it was done in such an aggressive way that everyone kind of lost their cool. But I think it kind of we didn't character assassination on Malik. I'm saying Malik out. I did message Imzi, and I just said to Imzi my reason why I don't want to contribute. I said I don't want to pay £7 just because of the bad experience that I had the week before. And on top of it, actually, let me add this to it. Yeah, so I shouted so much at Malik, and he looked upset during the whole game because obviously as an adult, it's kind of embarrassing getting shouted out. There's not many. Jake wasn't there, I think, so he didn't really have his friends around to kind of comfort that feeling. But as much as people say I'm an arsehole during the game that I did that, I went up to him, put my hand out, and said, listen, I apologize. I got angry in the game, try to fix up. I was going to take it one step further when I knew that he had a bit of a problem because of the way he was acting a week later or whatever in the group. I was going to private message him. But then I was thinking, you know what? You're grown up. I came up to you and apologized. Just like Imzi or I have, Imzi and me have a little tiff. Shanu and Imzi have a tiff. Everyone sorts it out, isn't it? You're grown up enough to deal with those feelings and emotions. You should be able to organize and manage that side. I think that the negatives were, given that it's Jake's good friend, it's not nice to be treating someone like that. But on the other side is that everyone gets cussed up or whatever in the group. We all take it. There's a week that there'll be a day where it's about Abs or you Abs or about me or Harvey or Lux or anyone. So I think coming back to the question, Malik out, the reason being because he went up to par with the game. As I said, if a lot of people are saying that, yeah, Imzi at the start, he was starting, wasn't that good, improved. That's worth keeping in because Imzi's good. He makes such a big difference to games. Malik, I don't see anything changing in the future. If anything, his knees worn out. He's telling me he likes cricket a lot or something like that. Can't remember what he was saying. But yeah, I just messaged Imzi. Just said that, listen, I don't want to be involved. Everyone started having a go at me saying, oh, Shafi, you're ruining the team lineup and blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm going to stand my ground, isn't it? I ain't going to pay £7 to contribute to some bullshit football match and having to deal with it as a headache. But I also remember that Malik got his payback when he was on Rish's side and Andy and me did that 1-2. We had 2 David Luizes in the back. And it gave the game away. Remember that? It gave the game away and our whole team was pissed because it was the whole Malik vs the other 7, isn't it? But yeah, going back to the group, no one cussed him as in on a personal level. They just said his game's shit, and they couldn't deal with that. I think Imzi handled it in a right way. He let it be known, isn't it, that Malik, I don't think there's room for you in the game and blah blah blah. The other day, I removed PD from the group. Do you know that? I don't know if anyone noticed that. And he messaged me saying it's deep. I know his name's PD, but he messaged me saying it's deep.
What, so was he annoyed about it? Was he upset about it?
Yeah, he was annoyed. But I said, listen, it ain't that deep. I said, you haven't said in for time. You ain't played the last 2 times when you had a chance. You didn't turn up and you ruined the game. So I said, I don't see the point of you being in that group. You ain't played for, like, what are you there just reading the messages? I just told him, I said, it ain't that deep. I said, if you want to play, stay in. And if you want back in, tell me. Didn't really respond to a message, so leave it as that.
Well, just a quick one on that. On my
Yeah.
first live, I had Imzi on, and I said the likes of him and plenty of others should not be in at least the admin group because they're not playing. And some of them are moved away or doing other things or just not about. If you're not playing, you don't need to be in there. Simple as that. And when the regulars are not able to play, then we can filter out. So it's all the main group and you can have a little chat and banter because we're all friends. That's fine. But why are they in the other group? You're not playing. You're not playing. And PD's one of them.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to know, Shafi did tell me he done this, and I sent Shafi out and put into his head to slay a lot more names, but he's yet to do it.
For the others, I need a head office approval, isn't it?
yeah. Right, quick. Not hang on that too much.
Yeah.
This one's a bit of an open-ended one, Shaf. I put the teammating group banter and more the process of the teammating. Now, anybody that don't know, me, Sam, Shafi, and Harvey are in a separate group. You kind of mentioned this one to me, Shaf, so I didn't know what you wanted to touch base on that sort of thing.
About the group.
Yeah, and our little group, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? A lot, like, we do say MZ organizes a thing, and I think there's a lot of credit between, as I was saying, people just need to turn up to a game. There's been a lot of times where, say, you've made teams, I've made teams, but there's been a lot of effort that goes into it. People don't understand. We don't just make teams. Like, I get it. There's certain players on certain sides quite a lot, but at times when there's not, there's a lot of effort that gets made into teams. Like the tournament, for instance. Like, how many teams have I, like, say, I'm talking about myself as a, like, I know you make teams and everything like that. I'm saying that how many team sheets have I made and there's been, like, great rematches or, like, 6-6 or 5-5 draws. So, you know, when people complain, like, oh, this and this, and I go back to the instance of Jabs when he left the group, complaining about that team, and I hadn't made the team that, like, fairly, and I think he was like, it's hard for him to play with Shawnee because he needs another runner. And I think that like one aspect of that is undermining someone's talent, because Shawnee can hold the ball. He does a lot, pushes off the ball, like big presence, and just general like team effort. We do a lot. Yeah, we have laughs and everything like that, but people don't understand. A couple of hours or a couple of days goes in, or we wait if there might be a drop. And for instance, a tournament. Now, I took a step back on the tournament. Yeah. The reason being because there was a whole hoo-ha in the group. And I remember it was, don't really want to single out names, but like Jake was there, Ryan was there. I know they were doing something constructive. They were like, what team shall we choose? Who's the end? Blah, blah, blah. So I thought, let me take a step back with everyone saying that they don't want me to make the team and blah, blah, blah. I gave it a couple of days. It came to a point where no one took the initiative to even drop anything in that group. And I remember chatting to you as well. I was saying, can you just like hold back and let's not do nothing with the team? If all them guys want to criticize how we make the team, I'm not doing it for fun. There's sometimes I'm sitting on that sofa and like say my missus has come back from work. I've come back from work. She wants to watch a movie, but she sees me on the team app. And she's like, oh, you're always like doing the football. People complain, isn't it? I'm spending my own personal time dealing with trying to make a game for everyone else. And just as you, Sam, just as you, Harvey, as well. And just like that tournament, I told Azza, step back. Let's see how they take the initiative. Came down to the last day or something like that. It was a Tuesday. MZ messages me at 8 p.m. saying, listen, I've put money into 2 pitches and it's a lot of money. Can you just sort out the teams? And within like half an hour, 40 minutes, I broke down the teams. And you know what? I think I did pretty well. Like, Azza, don't you reckon I did well in the tournament, Sam? Like, how I showed you how I broke it down into power players as color tops, defenders, engines, and then other mids, and then other strikers. And I made like, I put it together, and then I messaged you lot, dropped it in the group saying that take your views on it. And I just think that there's a lot of effort being made, and like sometimes I feel like not enough credit is given to the other side of the organization of the game. People have it too easy, isn't it? They just turn up to a game, pay £7 or whatever. But why don't you take that initiative, and why don't we criticize you for a couple of weeks that if the game's not good enough, you've wasted everyone's money? But I've had a lot of rematches with my team sheets. I've had a lot of fun with my team sheets. And people think, oh, it's made in a biased way. But no, I have to go through Sam. I have to go through you. I have to go through Harvey. Same as you. You make a team, you go through Harvey, you go through Sam. There used to be a point where I think only Rish and Imzi and Sam used to make it. Yeah. And I know, Sam, like, it got irritating for you because a lot of moaning. We never used to have moaning. And then it came to a point where, you know, like, everyone got too comfortable with the game. They've been in midweek for, like, months now. So they had a bit of a voice. And then it became all that whole moaning thing every week, something, like, people acting like we can't sit together and just talk about it and have a mild discussion about it and we'll fix it. Nothing's not fixable. But yeah, I just feel like people don't give the credit where it's due. There's a lot of effort that gets made into that. Even like the team, the application, how I put the name on. As I said, Sam, like every so-and-so, the football that we have improves. Just like when you whoever, I think it's you, Imdi or whatever, made the other admin group where you just say in, is why it goes back to what you're saying, Azza, is whoever's not playing in that group, who hasn't played for ages or whatever, we do need to remove them because we need to know realistic numbers. And some of those guys are in midweek in the conversation part of the group. So I think if you're not going to say in for like 6 months, 7 months, yeah, like there's other people that can take your spot. Like, and it's no disrespect or nothing like that. I just think you need to be kind to the organization of the game. And you need to be realistic. We need to know what numbers are in there. So, yeah. And
the only reason I brought that up the other day is because the whole Malik thing. Do we need numbers, don't we? And I think it's very stupid to have that separate for who's playing.
Yeah.
You can easily look at how many numbers are in there and you can look and go, oh, we've got 27, blah, blah, blah. But that ain't the case because we still have the likes of Alex, Josh, Paddy, all these players are playing every week for 3 months, 4 months now. And what gets my back up is you got Lux is moving away, not playing. Kelly's not played since fucking 1998. Not been around. P-Dip's not around. All players in the group. And you've got one player like Alex playing every single week and we can't get his name in the group. So that's why in particular. So
no, I think Alex should be included because you know what? I feel like as the games have gone on or the years have gone on, we've had less defenders. Have you noticed? Like every time we split teams, we're struggling like who's gonna get the keeper because we've got one less defender.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult, isn't it? So someone like Alex should be added in the thing because we need that little one. Good, like solid defense. He's a good all-round player. I like his style.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like, as I said, no disrespect to the people that are in there that are not saying in, but like if you've got the group on mute and you've got no interest to play, like make it just easier on the guys that organize the game. It's no disrespect. Just make it easier on us, isn't it? So we know who's realistically going to play it, and if we want to go to Westfield, how many numbers can we realistically get?
Yeah.
And I'd love to share a bit of banter that us boys in particular have in our little separate group, but I don't think, we'll put it this way, I'd love to have an outburst in there and you boys are very willing to let me say what I like to say in that group. I'll repeat.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like this, sometimes I'm like this.
But right, no, talking about groups, and you started the podcast talking about Sundays. I've got to get this in because I ain't joking. The last few, we've had Imzi on talking about it. We've had you on talking about it. Sam's mentioned it. I've got to mention it now because it's fucked me off, if I'm honest. That Nick, right? we played Wednesdays, right? I got added into the Sunday group. Shafi, you can vouch for me here.
Yeah.
I was in that group after the second game. I basically said, and most people can tell what I'm like now, I basically said, it's a fucking shit game, basically. Yeah. The next thing I know, I got kicked out of the group. And then I know this Wednesdays was building up and Sam said we didn't want to kill their football off and all that. And I remember messaging Sam around this time saying, fuck them, fucking kill their game off. It's awful, fuck them. And I just want to say, personal message to Nick after kicking me out. Where the fuck's your football gone, mate? You're shit. Your game was shit. I don't want no one talking about this fucking idiot Nick no more. And look at what we're doing, son. Not only are we bossing Wednesdays for 10 years later, we even got a fucking podcast. You're an idiot, mate. Fuck yourself. and Callie, who knows him? Callie, someone send a message to that fucking faggot. Nick, your game's shit, mate. It always was shit. That's what I got to say. I don't want to hear about his name ever again.
You know what? If you want to send Nick a message, just get Kay and Shanu to watch your podcast and record that part.
Someone record that and send it to him. You're fucking shit, mate. Your game was always shit, and we
that game was shit, man. It deserved to die, man. It was like an old frail cow. You just want to tip it over, or like an old horse, and you just want to put a shotty to its face to put out its misery. Right, moving on to a bit more personal stuff, Shaf. We've seemed to have spent time on the football stuff, but let's get a bit deep inside. Right.
When did you meet your missus, Kaz? And well, give us your story from early days, because you told me something that I didn't know, that you said people wouldn't know. So I don't know how in depth you want to get with that, but give us the rundown.
All right, so I don't think anyone knows that this is my second marriage, firstly. Yeah, so my first marriage lasted a whole Hollywood of 5 weeks, and like split up. So general gist of it is, my missus, I used to be in a circle of friends, but like a mixed group of everyone, and we used to go to a cinema like 30, 40 people. We all may not know each other really well, but she was in that same circle of friends, and basically Abs knew her way before me. And Abs knew her best friend, and we used to go clubbing and whatever. And I remember all my friends used to be hyped up about. They were like pretty girls, like in that crew. And I was the only guy that never used to give them no credit or nothing like that. I was a complete arsehole to them, giving them dirty looks, thinking like my friends are all dancing around them, and like it's like a wild Indians around the fire, that kind of thing. But yeah, like she was in the same circle of friends, and we never ever bumped into each other, even though there was like 30, 40 people we may have crossed paths. What happened was that the funny thing was, there's this girl named Shabs, yeah, and she's best friends with my missus. Now, that was one of the girls that was cool with all my boys, like when they were in the club, but she used to get angry thinking I'm just some arrogant prick, because I would never say hello to her, never give her time of day. She was like a girl with green eyes, really pretty, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly, like a couple of years later, we started talking. I don't know how we started talking. And then she starts going like, at this time, I went through my divorce, a lot of depression, blah, blah, blah. Because no one expects to get married. You put that much investment in, and then all that bullshit happens. But yeah, that was a very dark period of my life. And then what happened was that this Shabs girl was like, I've got someone that's like exactly like your personality, and blah blah blah, this and this, your match for match. I swear by you, it's like your soul partner. And then I was thinking, I'm not really interested in meeting anyone or whatever. But yeah, it just got really to the stage. And then what happened was that, actually, sorry, I skipped the part of the story. So Shabs and me, we started chilling out a lot, and like I was like good friends with her sister at that time as well. Our friendship progressed. We went clubbing, and apparently she had fallen out with my missus 2 years prior or something. And we went for a Christmas Eve party in a club. They happened to bump into each other, and they swapped BBM pins. It was Blackberries back then. Right. And now what happened was, with Shabs and me, whenever she used to piss me off, I used to delete her BB pin. So she used to always have my Blackberry pin copy and pasted somewhere. I don't know whether I think she purposely set us up. So this is the whole time when she was trying to get me with Caddy, but at that time, then they fell out. So they swapped BBM pins and blah, blah, blah. Next day, I got a message, and I swear on my mum's life, I never give out my number or anything to any girls. Like, generally, just of it, I hate giving out my number in clubs. And then I get this message and talking about some random shit. And then I'm thinking, who the hell is this? And then I look at it, and then it's a picture of, come on, I'm thinking, I don't remember giving this number to a girl and blah, blah, blah. And she's saying, Shabs, Shabs. And then I messaged Shabs. I said, did you give my pin to someone, isn't it? And then Caddy was like, oh, I think my friend gave me your pin by accident. We happened to ended up chatting for a good, like, 4 months before we met, but literally chatting every day on BBM. And, like, talking about, literally, I got to know her so much before even, like, physically meeting her. By that time, I think I was, like, pretty much, Shabs was right. Like, it was like a soul partner. Probably, like, the best thing that ever happened to me, man. Very motivating girl. I wouldn't have owned a flat, like, car, kid. Like, I wouldn't have this life right now without her. So, yeah, that's the way we met. Like, and apparently Shab still claims till this day that, no, I didn't give you a BBM pin on purpose. But yeah, she was trying to get us together for 2 years. But yeah, like, that's it. And we had our first date 4 months later. By that time, we were pretty much inseparable and everything. And like, yeah, best thing that's ever happened to me. Really, really amazing girl. Sam's had a chance to meet her as well. Yeah. Like, she's the kind of girl that will be like, if you don't watch sports, you're pretty much gay. Like, she's like that kind of person. Sam, me, MZ, and I can't remember who else was there. Yes, we were playing FIFA, like, on, we were just casually sitting. She had just come home. She started cooking and everything like that. She's that kind of girl, isn't it? Watch football every week. She, like, lets me play sports. If I tell her I'm going out at 1 a.m, she's like a very casual, very mature kind of person. Like, more a friend than a wife with limits. Which is important.
I will say, I remember you called me once, and I could hear in the background.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, even listening her say a few things to you, I sat there thinking, wow, she knows what it's like to have to deal with Shafi, but she's done it longer than me.
100%. You know what? Actually,
how long you been with her now?
11 years.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? Like, I have got a romantic side. I remember on her 30th birthday, I got a whole collection of our pictures and I made her a scrapbook of all our years of dating. And I wrote a story beside each one and everything. And I think the time when it snowed, I wrote, "Will you marry me?" on the snow and sent her a picture.
Yeah, nice.
She said no. No, I'm joking. She said yeah. But yeah, she knows how I'm like. She says I'm like the least serious person. I joke a lot, but she likes that. She likes that I'm a very calm, soothing person.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into this, but you touched based on when your mum fell ill and obviously Rish contacted you on that.
Yeah. I think last year, you know what? I've got a very thing about always smiling, even if there's a lot of destruction happening at the back of my life. Like, I think it's not hard to smile, it kind of cheers you up. I think last year, it was around February, my grandmother's like over 100. So my mom's like her favorite daughter and this and that. Over the last 20 years, she deteriorated. So I remember clearly, like, my mom, February last year, she had an appointment on 24th of Feb or something like that. And a week before, and this was supposed to be like a mammogram or something like that. A week before, my grandmother must have messaged my mum saying that I feel like I'm not going to make it through this week. My mum dropped everything. I mean, I told my mum, if my mum was ill, me as a son, I would drop everything. I said that, and she's got a mum right now that's alive. I said she needs to not worry about, you know, like us and the kids and whatever. And I said, my dad's like 84, isn't it? There's a 21-year gap between my mum and my dad. And she basically missed this appointment, which was supposed to be that whole mammogram, or I don't know what it's called, or whatever it is. She went to Pakistan, looked after my grandmother. She used to go every year for like 6 months, look after her anyway, and then go 3 months to Saudi to see my younger brother and the nephews. That's her routine in the year, 3 months in the UK. She went there, and I think February, March, April passed. It came to a point in May that she couldn't sleep on her right side. And a lot of my cousins over there, like the girl cousins, are doctors, like work for Imran Khan Hospital and all these things. They started feeling her side. They just said, listen, you need to cut your trip short. You need to make it back to England. She came back went to, I think it was A&E or something like that. And by that time, they found out that it's cancer and it spread from breast cancer. It went to her lymph nodes, which is under the armpits. Literally, it can travel anywhere in your body. So she had like stage 4 cancer. And I remember I felt really shit. It was really weird. Like, as I said, I'm an open book. So I never get scared about discussing these things. But I just remember breaking down. I remember it was on a Wednesday football and I had to go football. And like when I spoke to my mom, I broke down the most. Me and my mom have got a very volatile relationship, like very loving, but a very character clash. But I mean, at that time, that proper scared me, thinking that I'm going to lose my mom. Stage 4 is a very serious point where you either come back if you're mentally strong, or that's it. And I think those are one of the things that I would never be prepared for, to either lose my dad because I'm so close to him, and he's done a lot for me over my life, and my mum as well. So it was just the reality hitting you about that. And then I remember in May or June, I found out that my missus was pregnant. And that's a whole separate story, like 6 years. We've been married, a lot of like miscarriages along the way, losing kids at 3-4 months. And I think like, just like, there was like a bittersweet, and it was really weird. Like, they had to rush my mum along with all the appointments. I went with her because my dad's 84. He's not, I'm not saying he's not with it, but his attention span at this age is very short because he's older, isn't it? The older you get, the bit more selfish you get at a later age of life. So then I went, listened to everything, and it was just crazy. Like, listening to how much cancer patients have to go through, like the size of the books, the letters that come. How do you keep ticking over? Like, oh, like you could have 3 appointments in a week, and to be physically weak like that was a bit weird. And I think it kicked off in June, her chemo. Within a couple of weeks, they kicked her chemo off.
Shafi, so I'm just going to stop you there. I hate to stop you at such a crucial time.
No.
The thing's running out, but we will pick up the story right after this.
So we have the biopsies back, and the biopsies do confirm that you have prostate cancer.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in. It's okay to shed a tear or two.
Look.
Come on, beat it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back on Midweek Banter, episode 5. We're here with Ali Shafi, and Ali Shafi was, sorry to cut you off, bro, but we're in the middle of
That's cool,
man. Quite a deep story. You're talking about your mum. So you're saying it came to June time and your mum was going into chemo?
Yeah, she went into chemo. I went with her to all the appointments. My younger brother cut his job short, like as in he took a bit of a leave, came to London, brought the kids because he knew like my nephews will kind of like cheer her up during this like darker period. Yeah, she started going through a chemo. What the weird thing was, like watching, like I didn't realize how strong chemo is. Like it's acid that they're pumping through your body or something like that. All her nails started to go black, toenails, started losing her hair, eyebrows, and it was just weird. Just like watching such a strong, mentally she was still strong. She'll be like, I'm gonna beat this and blah blah blah. And it came to a point where I had just found out, like in, I think, end of June, when her chemo just started, that my missus was pregnant. And then I started reading things like, it's because like it took us 6 years to get to that end of the journey. It was like, I was reading something like, it's a bit dangerous for pregnant women to be around like the first week on when they have chemo. So like, you have to kind of like stay clear. So it got to a point where my missus and me would start making excuses with my mom, like, oh, why we're not going to come today and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I was there generally for a lot of my mom's thing. My younger brother was there, my older brother. We all got together, cooking, this and this, house, looking after my dad. So my mom doesn't have to worry about him, shopping, everything. And as I said, like, stage 4 is like quite it's scary just to think that someone that you've known for like 38 years of your life carried you for 9 months, let alone my older brother, and things that she went through her life when she moved to this country. Just to see her like deteriorate, like it's the cruelest way. I think cancer is just like one of those cruel things to see a loved one go through, and I think it's a bit of a horrible feeling because, as I said, I remember the day I found out that she had that, I had football the same day, and instead of thinking about dropping out of football, I thought, you know what, I need to go and get my mind off stuff. And I don't think anyone would have known during football because, as I said, I would smile a lot of my problems. I'll smile it off, and I'll try and configure it in my head. But yeah, like then it came to like July, August, and by that time, I think 4 or 5 weeks, my missus didn't turn up. Like we go check my mom and blah blah blah, and then basically, I remember I went for dinner and my mom done my nutting, like for like good couple of hours or whatever. Like I used to joke around about my mom's cancer, saying that she looks like a monk, Shaolin monk, and blah blah blah. We used to make like light humor of it. And like every time my mom talks, I was like, I can't take you serious with no eyelashes. So we all have little light humor laughs, and even though there was a lot of seriousness to it, it got to a point where she did my head in on dinner for 8 hours, and my younger brother was there. And then I don't know what happened, but I blurted it out that my wife's pregnant, and like my mom started breaking down and crying. Like she was like, I think as soon as she processed it, she was like, you know what, this is my biggest motivation to beat cancer.
Yeah.
And see it out because I want to hold my grandson in my hands. Like she'd been waiting, like she's never put pressure on me or my missus. Like, you know, that whole Asian culture, that my mum's not a cultural person. She's more I'm gonna look after my loved ones kind of thing. So she was really happy. She was like, you know what, I'm glad you gave me that spark. Like I am gonna make sure that I beat this cancer and blah blah blah. And as I said, as the months went on, I didn't tell my older brother till 2 months before my kid was due. I didn't even tell anyone. Like for a joke, I told my missus, let's do a hide the bump challenge. So she started wearing baggy clothes and all these kind of things to hide her pregnancy. But as I said, with my mom, she was pushing through her medications. I think the worst part of it is after you do your chemo, it's not so much the drip, it's a couple of days later where your bones are hurting. You just see a lot of deterioration. Like I was holding my mom's hands and like looking at her nails, and it breaks my heart. Like just to think that's what she's going through. But as I said, there was a motivation to it. Harvey, and I can tell you right now, Harvey actually, as I said, Harvey is one of those guys that will do a lot for someone but keep it private. A very private person as well. And he's gonna hate me for like putting this out there, but him and his missus, I would always have infinite love for them, man. His missus and him made like £100 or £200 kit, and every time basically they made a care package. Like, don't really want to say too much of it, but his missus' father passed away. Like Harvey's father-in-law passed away from cancer, and they just knew all of the things. And you know what? They were nice enough. I felt bad because to me, it felt like she's kind of reliving that kind of feeling. She knew my mum and everything, but then she made this care package saying that, you know what, this kind of creams help my dad, this kind of like lotion, shampoo, blah, 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 scrubs, whatever. She passed on her knowledge, and like Harvey and his missus were like, Natasha were like proper, my mum loves them up. Like my mum's like, if I ever had a daughter, it would be like Harvey's wife. Like that's who she'd be. And certain things, just to see a group of people like just take I don't know what the right word is, but it's like taking that personal feeling to a next level and making my problem their problem as well. And as I said with Rish as well, like as soon as he heard it, like a lot of people actually from the group, but I'm saying Rish because all the time I always mug him off, but like he knows what my relationship with him is anyway. Like we have a very good relationship. We chat here and there and everything. And he was all asking me, and it was kind of nice to chat to someone that maybe I'm not in touch with all the time. But it was kind of nice to like get a lot off my chest in that sense. And then that's it. And then you know what the bright part of the year was? We passed our 4-month mark on, I think it was our second trimester. Was it second trimester, isn't it? After 3 months, Azza. Usually around 3 or 4 months is when we used to always fail in pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so passing the second trimester, that was kind of like a big goal. Then my mum was even more happier. And she started getting used to it. And as I said, like things like Harvey and Natasha gave us tips and everything like that made like my mum's journey in cancer a bit easier, like less painful. And there was a lot, all her friends that she's known for like 50, 60 years coming and cooking food. And it was just really touching, you know, like to see a whole, as I said, everyone else take on a problem that's really like my problem or my family's problem and just show that care. Like that side of human nature, like, and it's people from all different kind of backgrounds. It's why I love this group so much. If you think about it, everyone's from a different background and like it's kind of nice. But yeah, it was a hard journey, man, last year. And then I think I was distracted from work, the pressure of like thinking that I'm gonna have a kid. Everything just felt like it was a lot of weight on my shoulder at the time. Work was having a bit of issue. Yeah, just there was a lot going on. But as I said, I find it important to smile when you have problems. It's not you're masking your thing. Like I think you should smile because you can always go out and change your luck. Like every day, there's always a possibility to make something better. Is what I feel. But yeah, like now she's done her chemo. She did her operation in November, and then in Feb, my kid was born. And then in March, she saw him for like 3 days, and then she had radiotherapy. And then my mum, she's a bit of a paranoid person, isn't it? She didn't want us to be near her. And then quarantine flipping started, man. So she was away. It's kind of hard that she's keeping in touch about my kid through like, you know, like these kind of medium, Zoom and WhatsApp, everything. But the funniest thing was I remember telling Harvey about my Mrs. Brett, because he knows a lot about journey that we've been through, struggles. And I think it was after football. And I must have taken him aside and I told him, I need to tell you something, blah, blah, blah. And then I told him that, Caddy's pregnant. And he said, no way, congratulations, and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I think he said something like, oh, when's it due? I was saying in a couple of weeks. He started bugging out, saying that, what the hell? Like he was so shocked. Like every friend that I've told, I mean, like, I remember telling you two, remember you want to start a tournament, Azza? And I was telling you in February, they've called me back on a crime that I committed a couple of years ago, and I might be away for a couple of weeks. And I might be in prison for a couple of months. Yeah, that was me hiding my Mrs. pregnancy, isn't it?
It's
like,
such slippery shit.
Yeah. And like, then that was like the most positive sides of it. Like my mum's recovered. They did the operation, removed everything, radiotherapy killed it off. They said that there's always a chance for it to come back. Obviously, you know, like Matt works in a hospital. He must tell you a lot of stories about cancer. And stuff. I hope he's good as well, man. Matty as well.
At a hospital tomorrow.
Yeah. What, as in like for a couple of nights or just like visit?
No. He's not fully sorted, but my brother's out, so that's one good thing. My cousin's recovered and he's out of hospital as well.
Wicked. That is good news, man. You know, like to see loved ones suffer it's not a nice feeling.
No.
Not at all.
Good to hear you. It's good to hear you. And she obviously got to see your baby, which you showed me a picture of yesterday. Very cute.
Yeah.
He takes after your wife.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say he takes after abs.
Wait, don't trust him, mate. I warned you.
Yeah. There was a moment I was telling Azza, I was like, can you donate some of your sperm? Because it's very potent.
I think with the amount of jokes me and you tell, I think a lot of people probably thought we were joking, but this is a real thing. Shafi has messaged me numerous times to have a sample of my sperm.
Yeah. His privates are like Captain America, man.
How much was Azza charging for it?
The genetics of a Fijian.
Yeah. I told him no, but I mean, I should have been a bit more smarter, Sam, and probably did charge him a bit of cash, and I may would have done it. I may would have done it at that point, but I weren't thinking. let's
Yeah,
get
we have
things. Let's get things a bit more upbeat. I've been given a handful of stuff, Chef, and you can just run with this. I've heard about your. Well, you told me yourself yesterday you used to wear jumpers and tuck them into your pants, which is just ridiculous. I've heard you had long hair, and we're dying to find a picture from someone, but at the moment we've had no luck.
So basically, I sent a broadcast out to all the people that you might approach, and I said, "Do not send any long hair pictures." I said, "Well, there's gonna be like, I'm gonna reprimand them for that, man. I will beef them for that."
And I've been asked to ask you about something happened in America when you was in America. I've been asked to ask you about, I don't know if you got maced in the Alps or some shit crazy like that. And I've been asked to ask you about a car chase in Marrakesh. And I don't know what this is about, which I don't know how crazy this is going to be, but I've been asked to ask you about some guy called Scott Robb.
Scott Robb, yeah? That's an Abdullah question. That's an Abs question.
So I don't know where you want to touch base on there, but you can run through them crazy.
I'm gonna have to break this down, yeah. So the first one is you're talking about America. So I remember at age 19 or something like that, I quit my job. Blockbusters were around at that time, and I think I quit my job. At that time, you were only getting paid like £2.80 an hour. So imagine how long it took me to save up like £700-800. But flights were cheaper back then as well.
Yeah.
I ended up going to America. So what happened was I booked my ticket on the night. I quit my job. I did not tell my mom or dad. That was like actually my first real holiday. And I just remember phoning them at JF. I was telling them that I'm going to my friends to stay around there.
Yeah.
Caught a flight, ended up in New York with like one of my good mates. Phoned my mom up from JFK airport saying, "I'm in America." My mom's, if I could tell you the swear words that I got, she started worrying, thinking like you're running away and blah, blah, blah. But ended up blowing my money, and I'm going to tell you where. I'm not going to say strip clubs and blah, blah, blah and whatever. But I remember I blew like $900. At that time, that goes a long way. And I blew $900 in like less than a week and a half, 2 weeks, just by buying stuff and not taking due care. I'm bad with money anyway. And then I got so broke. At that time, I was staying at one of my friends that I had met. He's an asylum seeker from Afghanistan and resettled in New York. So I was staying with him. Accommodation was sorted. But yeah, I was just broke on holiday in New York, and I would have to walk everywhere. So I walked into a pizza shop with my friend and said, "Listen, we're from UK. We ain't got money, and we'll work for however much." That guy found it interesting and took us on. I was delivering pizzas in a week and a half or a week of being in New York. I was delivering pizzas to different addresses. Made a whole bunch of money for another 4 weeks. And then we took our money and we went to Canada. We caught a Greyhound to Toronto. And we went to Toronto because my best mate at that time, he was in love with this girl that he met on MSN. And and then we ended up in, oh man, it was even worse. We ended up in Toronto, and we blew our money again in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, that we ended up staying in a rental car for like a whole week. I've caught myself going to Dunkin' Donuts to shave, wash my face, slap some water under my armpit. It got to a point where we survived like about 12 weeks or something. He ended up getting a job, and I was told him that I'm missing the UK. Most of all, I was missing cheese. I don't know why. I was like missing like normal food. Yeah, it's fucked up.
You don't have cheese in Canada?
I was missing cheese, like UK cheese. I don't know why. And I was like, I've had enough 12 weeks, like living like this, living in a car. It got to a point where we had such a big argument in Toronto that we were stuck in the car together for like 24 hours and not talking to each other for like 4 days. And it was all over putting the radio too loud. And I think I put the radio too loud. And we just stopped talking for 4 days. But yeah, at the end of it, I told him like, I've had enough. I'm going to fly back out. So I don't know how I made a bit of money, but I just flew back out. But it was the best holiday. It really opened my eyes as an adult, how to behave and blah, blah, blah. But like additional, New York is actually my favorite place because I think when I first got married, I went to New York. Argentina team were walking about. Batistuta, Messi, Mascherano. Mascherano just had left just then. And I remember we were walking down. I can't remember what the name of the thing is. I saw Messi and I was thinking everyone's wearing like this Argentina thing. Then I look. Then I recognized some of the players. I started screaming, Messi, Messi. Messi ran off. I was with my wife. I left her behind. Ended up only getting like freaking Mascherano's signature because Messi ducked me. But yeah, that's another like American story. What was the other question? Mason Abdullah, isn't it? Abs. Wherever I go with Abs, I get either treated very good or we get very hurt. I remember we went to the Alps and me, Abs, and like 10 other guys that were crazy Moroccans, friends that we grew up with. We caused a riot the night before. Yeah, there's this guy named Boris who's a Russian guy that owns one of the clubs. Now in the bar, like me and Abs weren't there that night. Yeah, we were back at the what's it called, Chateau or whatever it's called. Them guys had chucked ice cubes at the people that were serving behind the bar and pissed them off. It ended up chucking an ice cube at the manager, the owner of the place. Kicked them out. The next day we tried to get in our club because all of them there's like really hot skiing girls over there and blah blah blah. So we all try to get in and there's this Moroccan bouncer, yeah. He looked like, what's that again? Adel Tarat or whatever his name is. He looked like that, yeah, but a bold version. And me, Abs, the Moroccan guys, we convinced 10 lads from Manchester, like white lads, yeah, that we should rush the club. What happened was Boris came out to see what the whole ruckus was, went to his bouncers. Now, them guys are the guys that were chucking ice cubes. One of my friends picked up a big block of ice or snow, dashed it at Boris, cleaned out Boris. Yeah, Boris like kind of fell on the floor. The bouncers picked him up, went in, and then we all started going, let's rush the gates, talk to we were all like 10 brown guys and we had 10 white guys next to us. And we were all like saying 3, 2, and like rattling them cages, yeah. And there's one bouncer and he puts his hand like in his, like I need to do it like this, be a bit more, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so puts his hand in this jacket like this, and I swear on my mum's life, he took out 20 guys with this big, I've got pictures, I'm going to send it to you, because took out 20 guys, like a mace, but it wasn't a mace that I've ever seen before, pepper spray. It was like a foam, like fire extinguisher foam. It looked like that kind of can. He took out 20 guys, and literally 20 guys looked like 20 cockroaches with their arms and legs in the air screaming. And I remember going to Abs and I made his burn. So basically I saw it coming, so I blocked it. So I was the only one that survived from it. I took my camera phone out, started filming everyone screaming, went up to Abs and said, I know how to make it better. Obviously I didn't. I put ice in his eyes, and apparently you're not supposed to do that because it leaves scars, isn't it? So I burnt Abs' eyes. And then the next day, like basically it was going around the whole Alps. It was like the Deux Alps is where it was in France. It was going around the whole news that there's never been a riot there before. And like we were the first guys, because it's such a posh area, and we were the first guys to cause a riot. And then the next day I went Abs, I said, we need to go back to that bouncer because he dealt with 20 people. I want to shake his hand. Ended up taking a picture with him pointing the mace to our head. We got some cool pictures. Yeah. That was a sick one. That was a good holiday. And the Marrakesh one, again, Abs, troublemaker, speeding in a Peugeot 106. In Marrakesh, what happens is that a lot of cops at nighttime stop you and they just want bribes, like 200 dirhams, which is about 20 pounds. It happened like 2-3 nights in a row. Abs and me got sick and tired of it, yeah? So Abs stopped because the officer called him across. Abs obviously can speak Arabic. Started speaking Arabic to the guy. I think Abs dashed a Red Bull at him and said, I'm fed up at you. Drenched. You know, officers, if you abuse Moroccan officers like that, they got this thing where they pull your nails as part of the torture, or they put a Red Bull can up your bum. There's like, they treat, if you mess about as a tourist in Morocco, the king does not have it. So Abs chucked the Red Bull can at the guy, said something in Arabic. the guy called his other guy out and had a gun and everything. And the guy, because the guy's head was still stuck in, I grabbed his mustache and pulled it. And then I said, Abs, drive. I was shook. We literally, in pitch black, sped like in a Peugeot 106, like at 90 miles per hour, sped, and there was like a dead petrol pump. And our hotel, here's the catch now, our hotel is just outside Marrakesh, and they're restricted to work within Marrakesh. Me and Abs slid into a petrol pump that was closed, switched all the car lights off, and pushed the seats back and dropped back. All we saw was like the police sirens go past us. They came back like 10 minutes later thinking, where the fuck are these guys gone?
Yeah.
And we were so paranoid. And I don't think we went out to Morocco for like a whole day. We thought we were vigilantes, we're wanted. And it's not the first time. You know, we've been wanted by police before because one of our friends gave like fake money to like the shopkeepers or something as a joke, like fake £50 notes. This was like years ago. And we got chased out of Morocco, basically. We had to cut our holiday like 3 days short. But Abs is a troublemaker. It's Abs. I blame everything on Abs.
Who's this Scott Rob? Do we want to know?
Scott Rob is a troublemaker. It was over, you know what? It's not that big a story, but I remember like we played Call of Duty. You know Call of Duty? Now, Azza, you must know about Warzone and all this, yeah? It's Call of Duty anyway, isn't it? You know the server, you connect to the server, the gameplay improves, right?
Yeah.
Or is it not true? Basically, there was a big whole debate. I said that if you connect to the game server, or Sam, if you know, I'll say it improves the game because you're working off the server of the company, isn't it? Activision or Treyarch or whoever they are. Okay. Yeah. So this whole thing turned into a conversation. Abs and like a couple of guys trying to like say, okay, let's put this up on the Call of Duty forum. So I went a couple of hours later, made a fake profile and gave a big response saying that, yeah, blah, 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 this and this and this and this. Basically, I got caught out, isn't it? And ever since then, I didn't get caught, They caught me out and saying this guy has just made a profile, blah, blah, blah. Abs happened to come to dinner to my house and my missus was talking, and this is why I call her a snitch, yeah? She was talking and she was like, oh, the other day, like you lot are on the group somewhere, but Shafi was writing this long message on some forum. And Abs like turned around to me and said, wait. So what was Shafi doing and blah, blah, blah. Basically, my missus saw me writing that message, isn't it? And she basically snitched me up. And like Abs went back into our like friends group. And since then I've been mocked. No one believes a thing. I'm the boy that cried wolf. Basically, that's what it is.
So then who's Scott Rob? What's Scott Rob got to do with it?
I don't know. It's just, it turned out to be, Scott Rob is the name that I gave the guy that wrote the response.
Scott Rob.
Ever since, anyone that chats bullshit, we call him Scott Rob.
Oh, wow.
Basically.
I want to use that.
Scott Rob's the hero, man.
Fucking hell. All right, well done, mate. All right, that's that section done. I think Sam will start us up for the our new segment, which no one's even seen yet because it's in part 29 of Jake's, which has not been released yet. So we'll have to explain to you what's happening.
Hopefully that segment is going to come this week. So now it's time for this. And that's right, it's time for midweek Ultimate Team, and we've been creating a card for each player. So we will spin the wheel, we will draw the name out of the hats, as you'll see in this video here, and we'll see which one of our midweek ballers we will be making a card for this week. And of course, we've got different categories where we're going to judge them in. So we'll all say our votes about what we think of what they're rated from 0 to 99, just like in FIFA, and then we'll average it out and to see what their rating is. So on this week, time is really against us. So we will, in fact, I think it's better if we continue this segment after this break, which may be another part in this Ali Shafi saga series. So we'll continue this segment after this break, and we'll come back and we'll do midweek Ultimate Team card with Shafi. Come back after this.